You know that feeling, right? You pick up your phone to check just one thing, and then you look up and an entire hour has just vanished. You've been sucked into this endless vortex of scrolling and swiping. Well, if you've ever felt like you're losing a fight against your phone, I'm here to tell you something really important. Seriously, let that sink in. It is not your fault. This isn't about you being weak or lacking discipline. Nope. You're actually up against something much, much bigger. Something that's been deliberately designed to hijack your attention and keep it for as long as humanly possible. And that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? The reason it feels impossible to look away is because these apps aren't just simple tools. There's these incredibly sophisticated psychological environments, and in this explainer, we are going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how they're engineered to get you hooked. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so the heart of this whole machine, it's not something you can even see. It's a really smart, constantly learning AI that's working 24/7 behind the scenes. And its one and only job? To figure you out. Maybe even better than you figure yourself out. Think about it. Every single thing you do, every like, every share, every time you pause on a video for just a fraction of a second, it's all data. This engagement algorithm takes all of that info and builds a digital model of you. It learns what makes you laugh, what you're curious about, and, this is crucial, what makes you angry. And why angry? Because it turns out that strong emotions, especially the negative ones, get the strongest reaction. And don't just take my word for it. This is a bombshell quote from Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen. She laid it all out there, revealing that the company's own internal research showed the algorithm learned something pretty dark. Negativity sells. Content that's angry, divisive, and polarizing gets way more clicks and shares. And since the AI's only goal is to maximize engagement, well, you can guess what kind of content it shoves to the top of your feed. It's a system that literally profits from outrage. But listen, the AI is only half the picture. It's working together with a whole toolkit of psychological tricks that are baked right into the design of the apps themselves. Yeah, this stuff isn't an accident. It's a whole field of design. They're called dark patterns. And it's basically where designers use what they know about our brain's little quirks and weaknesses to trick us into doing things we probably wouldn't normally do. Like staying on an app for way too long or sharing way too much information. It's all about persuasion, and a lot of the time, it's flat-out deceptive. So first up is a big one, the infinite scroll. You know, back in the day, content came in pages. You'd get to the bottom, and that was a natural break. A little moment to think, do I want to see more? The bottomless feed completely gets rid of that. There's always more coming, always something new just a flick away. It basically turns your feed into a slot machine, and you just keep pulling the lever, hoping for that next little hit. Then you've got what they call gamification. Think about Snapchat streaks. That little fire emoji next to a number, it completely turns a simple conversation with a friend into a game you can't afford to lose. It's not just about chatting anymore, it's about maintaining the streak. And that fear of losing it, of being the one to break the chain, becomes this really powerful daily habit.
And of course, the notifications, that constant buzzing and dinging. Every single one of those is like a little digital tap on your shoulder, and it's been engineered to give your brain a tiny little squirt of dopamine. That's the feel-good chemical. So your brain starts connecting the sound of your phone with a little hit of pleasure and, boom, you've got a powerful reward loop that has you checking your phone over and over and over again.
But this whole combination of smart AI and sneaky design, it's not just costing us time. It has a real, tangible human cost, especially for the youngest people using these apps. And it feels like the bill is finally coming due. 42. That's how many US states have sued Meta, the company that owns Facebook and Instagram. And the accusation is serious. They're arguing that the company knowingly and deliberately designed its platforms to addict kids and teenagers, all while telling the public a very different story. And look at this number from New York City's health department. Teens who use social media are diagnosed with anxiety at a rate that is 18 percentage points higher than teens who don't. That is not a small gap. That's a massive flashing red light for public health. And this might be the most shocking statistic of all, mainly because it came from Meta's own internal research. 13.5% of teen girls said that Instagram makes their thoughts of suicide worse. Let me repeat that. The company knew. They knew their platform was making these incredibly dangerous thoughts even worse for some of its most vulnerable users. And yet, the features stayed. So all of this, it brings us to a really important moment. We've seen how the machine is built, and we're seeing the damage it's causing. So the real question now is, What are we going to do about it?
I think this quote from the New York City Health Commissioner just absolutely nails it. He compares it to tobacco. And what that does is it reframes the whole problem, right? It suggests that maybe we should stop treating this as a personal problem, a lack of willpower, and start treating it like an environmental threat. Just like we have regulations to keep our air and water clean, maybe we need rules to protect our minds in the digital world.
Which leaves us right here with this one last question to really think about. The people who built our digital world, they made their choices. They chose to prioritize engagement and profit above almost everything else. But now that we know how these systems work, we get to make a choice too. A choice about where we put our attention and what we're going to demand from the technology that's become such a huge part of our lives.